My name is Paula. I'm from Boston, but I'm half French through my mother, who was born and raised in Bordeaux, in the southwest of France. Today I am attempting a cheese souffle, soufflé au fromage, which is very simple, but it's a labor of love. So souffle is actually really simple, and I didn't realize until today that it has 3 different kinds of dairy. But it's butter, flour, milk, eggs, cheese, and then salt, I think, to taste. It's kind of intense. You have to make a bechamel, which is a white sauce, and if you mess up the proportions, it goes very badly wrong. So my mom didn't make soufflés very often. It was kind of a once in a while treat kind of thing. But it's a very clear memory for me because she would spend a lot of time on it, because making the bechamel and beating the egg whites, and I didn't know how insane it was until I got older that my mom beat the egg whites by hand in this big copper bowl that she had in the kitchen. It was always really nice, and it was always a very homey and comforting thing, because it's just this little eggy, cheesy pillow that you get to have. So it's funny to me just because when people think of it as something snobby, I don't think of it as that at all. I think of it as something very comfortable and down to earth. My mom has made soufflés for us for a long time, as far as I can remember. I don't think her mother made it for her. So it's not really a family thing, and it's not even something that's specific to the southwestern region. There's a great French word for this called dépaysé, which means kind of uncountryed. And so it means you're out of your element and you feel like you're in a new place and you don't know what's going on. And she had been there with my father before, but I think it was hard for her to settle in, and so I think she really leaned into her Frenchness, which is also why she pushed so hard for me and my sister to speak French. But I think one of those things was she fell back on food, and she fell back on making meals that she knew were good and reminded her of home and were simple. Because when I asked her for this recipe, she said, your grandma and I, we made dishes, but they're all very simple. They're just good food, but they're not elaborate dishes. And I think the souffle is a good example of that, because it's really simple ingredients, and it does take a little while, but ultimately it's eggs and cheese and butter, and I think it was also a way for her to feel more comfortable and adapt something that she felt was French to her new life, and then that kind of trickled down to me and my sister. She makes new things and unknown things in places comfortable. She adapts really well, and so I think the souffle and cooking was a good way for her to do that, where she was in a new place, and so she brought things that were familiar with her. The souffle I remember because it was a once in a while thing, and it was a thing that my mother took time and effort to make. That's what the souffle is for me, because when I come home from New York to visit, she'll ask me, do you want me to make a souffle? That's what she goes to. So I think that's it. Is the souffle is a very homey reminder for me. So I'm kind of excited to have made it on my own, but I think also I'm gonna have to call my mother after this and assure her that nothing beats mom's souffle, because I think otherwise she might cry.